Good evening and welcome to DRTV's live presentation of the ground-pounding, earth-shaking TDR Whelen Modified Series at the Concord Motorsports Park. 150 laps is the scheduled distance. I'm Todd Stanton. Alongside of me is my partner in crime, Mr. TV Time himself, Rich Patton. Rich, what should we expect from this great group of racers we have here tonight?
Well, Todd, good to be here tonight at Concord Motor Speedway or Motorsports Park. Half-mile tri-oval, 3 turns, very fast track. I think we're in for a good show tonight. The downside or maybe upside to some fans is that there seems to be maybe 24 drivers that are going to be out here on this track. So 24 drivers around a half-mile tri-oval, very fast-paced track. I think we're in for a good show as long as they can keep their nose clean.
For those of you who don't know, the Concord Motorsports Park track, it's a half-mile tri-oval, 14 degrees banking. These guys have been running 14.9s, 15-second bracket. Going to start seeing some qualifying times come down here soon, Rich, and I'm interested to see who's going to be out front when we get the green flag.
Yeah, most definitely. We got a lot of hard hitters or heavy hitters in here tonight, along with the 3 Melsons. We got David Day out here. Frank Divins is out here. Kelly Horner is out here. A lot of fast drivers in short track racing, and this is one fast track to see these heavy hitters out all together. So I think we're in for one heck of a show. Like I said, as long as they can keep their noses clean, I think that's going to be the name of the game tonight, and of course, tire strategy.
Well, I think with the Concord Motorsports Park, with some of these drivers, a lot of them we were talking to earlier, Rich, wouldn't give us kind of what their tire run was. They said it's going to be shorter than the fuel run. The fuel window is 79 to 84 laps. I'm saying the tire run will be probably about 50 laps.
Yeah, I'm thinking the tires are going to be more important than fuel also. The only thing that might change that, of course, is, we don't like to talk about it, but the cautions. The cautions may throw pit strategy out the window early on, but if they get into some green flag running, in theory, we could probably get away with 1 or 2 pit stops if their tires can hold up, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to have to judge their pit stops based off of tires more than fuel tonight. We are starting to see some times up on the board. Looks like David Day is currently sitting on your pole. Got 2 Melsons in second and third. Steve Melson's ahead of Jason Melson right now. Fourth right now is Martin Karch, and fifth is going to be the third Melson of Dave Melson. So still during qualifying, but those are our times as they're posting right now.
Yeah, Melson Family Affair right now in the top 5. Going to be interesting to see if we're going to have a different winner. Frank Divins did not make the race here last week at the last track that we were at. Frank Divins is here in competition tonight. Points did shake up a little bit from the other weeks, so we do have a new points leader.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll get into their overall point standings a little bit later tonight, but right now, Daryl Pace is coming into this event being our points leader. He currently has 10-point lead over Frank Divins, currently sitting in second. So we'll see how that pans out. Daryl might be one to watch tonight. He's a pretty good short track racer, and like I said, this is one heck of a track. So I really think we're in for a good store tonight. A lot of heavy hitters, like I mentioned earlier, and good point standings getting ready to play part here.
Yeah, a lot of new drivers here this evening. A lot of other leagues off for Christmas break and New Year's break. A lot of other leagues took the night off, and we're seeing a lot of new drivers here this evening, and hopefully we see some green flag racing. Like you said, yellow flags may play into factor here this evening with cautions breed caution. So hopefully we don't see a lot of those this evening. The track's pretty well gripped up a little bit, and looks like they might be able to post some good times.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, like I said, with all these heavy hitters, there's going to be a lot of good close racing. Watching through practice, as you can see, the cars are out on the track right now during happy hour. It seems to be turn 3. They're getting a little bit loose coming off of turn 3, and it's getting them sideways down the front stretch. And they're going to have to keep that car under control, because if they do that in front of a group or in the middle of a group, it's going to cause mayhem on this track. There's nowhere to go. There's walls on both sides. So anybody gets spun around, they're most likely going to become a target.
And like last week, we seen tires come off these vehicles. We seen all kinds of carnage last week with a real tight track. This is a little wider track than what we were racing last week, and I don't think you're going to see them as close to the wall as they were last week either, Rich.
Yeah, most definitely not. See if we can pull up some lap times here for our fans.
Yeah, as you're pulling them up, Rich, right now happy hour underway. We got another 3 minutes of happy hour. David Day, currently your happy hour leader at 15.014 seconds. Martin Karch, 15.225. I think you're going to see these guys in the low 14 second or high 14 second bracket, as some of these guys did qualify in the 14.9s. Don't think you're going to be able to keep that pace up all night. I'm going to be surprised if they do, because the tires, like you said, going to be a big issue. And it looks like we do have 24 drivers, maybe even 25 drivers here this evening. Biggest field the TDR Whelen Modified Series has seen yet so far. And it's going to be a barn burner here this evening to see who's going to win. Again, you have 2 winners this whole season so far. Frank Divens has 3 of them. Stevie Melson has 1. And we talked to Stevie Melson a little bit earlier in the evening, and he said that he might have something for Frank Divens. Frank Divens wasn't here last week. We're going to see what Stevie Melson says. This track is one of his favorites, so we're going to look for them guys to battle up front. David Day back. He was not here last week, but he's going to be up there. Can't count out Martin Karch. All these drivers, really a lot of heavy hitters, like Rich has said.
Yeah, most definitely. There's going to be a lot of competitive racers out here on this track tonight, and once the crowd gets in the stands here and we get this thing underway, green flag racing, there's going to be a lot of excitement on this track overall, and it's going to be really interesting to see how these heavy hitters make their way through the field and deal with clean air or deal with traffic. It's going to be quite interesting.
I want to take a moment, guys, before this race starts, check out our store. We have apparel available, also DVDs at $10 a piece for every event that we broadcast. The apparel is also available. You can get shot glasses, you can get beer glasses, you can get Rich's favorite, the tumblers, all kinds of DRTV shirts. We also have other apparel for the NRT 500 that will be coming up here in the later part of January. They have apparel also available.
Yeah, and you never really know what's going to end up in that store there. We come up with all kinds of different ideas to try to make available for all of our race fans out there and our watchers of our broadcast, our live broadcast. So we also have a forum section, so anybody who wants anything or would like to see something in the store, we can make that available as well. So still in the works, got a lot of products in there already, but you just never know. It's a good place to check out for different racing items that we cover.
Yeah, now that you reminded me, Rich, we also have a calendar that is going to go live here probably the middle part of January. We do have a contest going on. The best DRTV paint schemes, the best 12 are going to go on that calendar. That competition is going to end on the 1st of January. Voting begins for between the 4th and the 10th. So get any painters, any league painters out there, get some DRTV logos on the card and put it in the forums. It's available in that forum. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of paint schemes we have out there.
Yeah, just to give you a little bit more information about that, we do have our DRTV logo available in PSD or PSP format in our forums. The information is also posted on the DRTV Facebook page. But basically what it is we're looking at the 12 voted best paint schemes on any NASCAR Racing Season 2003 mod or car type that's going to make the calendar. And the only issue is that you have to use our logo. It has to be a DRTV themed paint scheme, and it has to have the number 1 on it as the car number. Other than that, it's pretty much fair game for whatever you want to do. And of course, all of our league members and sponsor members will be the ones voting on them. So I think it's a good idea for everybody to get involved and help represent your league on an official DRTV calendar.
Drivers,
drivers are getting a call down there on pit road. They're getting strapped into their cars, Rich. We're going to go through this qualifying lineup. 14 drivers took time. The other ones opted not to take time here this evening. David Day, your pole sitter in the 005, 14.970. Outside of him, last week's main event winner, the number 95, that's Stevie Melson. Inside, row number 2 in the 3rd position, that's the number 38, Jason Melson. He's a rookie here in the series. Outside of him is the number 33 of Martin Karch. Inside row number 3, starting in the 5th starting position, that's the number 28. That's David Melson. He timed in with a 15.156. Outside of him is the number 41 of Frank Suggs. Inside row number 4, starting in the 7th starting position, that's 3-time feature winner Frank Divens Sr. in the 049. He timed in with a 15.220. Matt Whale, newcomer here this evening, in the 09 will be starting 8th. 9th will be the number 1 of Steve Gordon, also known as Reaper. Outside of him is the number 20. That's Matt Lesniski. I'm slaughtering his name every week, and somebody finally corrected me on it. 11th is the 103 of Carson Krenz. Outside row number 6, and 12th is the number 9 of Randy Schneider. 13th is Adam Helm in the 67. 14th is Kelly Horner, and the rest of the field has took no time, so I'm not sure what their positions are going to be out there on the racetrack. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, 10-4 pace car pulls off the lap. These cars are coming around turn 3. Getting ready to take that green flag. And the green flag flies. Looks like David Day is going to take the inside line going in through turn 1. Everybody's going to start single file behind him. Now, the interesting thing, from turn 1 down to turn 3, they're pretty much going to be running full throttle. You're going to see most of the action in 1 and 3. As they come through 3, we've got one on the outside. Looks like Martin Karch is going to try to take that second spot. Doesn't look like he's going to make it, though. They're battling side by side for second place.
Yeah, Martin Karch trying real hard on the top side. Looks like he was dirt tracking around the corners. Martin known for as we have contact up front. Looks like the 005 of David Day around. We have all kinds of carnage, cars flipping all over the speedway. There's a roadblock out there, Rich, right now. It's hard to get through off of 4.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier. Once one car goes around in front of the pack, it's going to jack everybody up, and we just saw it here on lap 2 already. Cars came to a complete standstill. A couple cars went cartwheeling down the front stretch a little ways, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do here. Normally they wouldn't restart a race after 2 laps are in, but it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out.
Indeed, it's going to be interesting. A lot of damaged cars in that melee over there. Rich, I believe you're going to probably pull up the replay so the fans out there on YouTube can see this in DRTV. Right now, Reaper's going to assume your lead. That is Steve Gordon in that number 1 machine. Frank Divens is second. Third would be the number 20 of Matt. Fourth would be the 21 of Kelly Horner. Fifth right now is the 38 of Jason Melson. 6th would be the 4 of Jeremy Jeffries. 7th, Randy Schneider. 8th, the number 5 of Joe Archer. 9th is the 103 of Carson Krenz. Matt Whale in the 09 is sitting 10th right now. So hopefully we can see what happened and what transpired. It looked like the top two cars made contact. Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, has that replay queued up and ready for you. Let's see what Rich has to say.
Yeah, it's looking like the contact may have came Steve Melson. And your race leader, David Day, as we go through this in slow motion a little bit to see how this started. They got a little, it looks like maybe David Day just got a little loose, and that kind of checked everybody up behind him. We'll pan out and get a better view of what happened afterwards, but as you can see, cars got on the inside wall, went airborne. A couple different cars started flipping. Looks like 3 cars left the ground for a moment totally, and there's just a bunch of mess.
It's going to be interesting seeing a lot of these cars, Rich, down pit road, getting their damage repaired. You're going to have to see how these other drivers are going to fare. Short track racing don't have a lot of draft involved, so a lot of these batter up cars you still see go towards the front.
Yeah, is this dealing with some control issues over here, but got things back under control, and it looks like things are back in line out on the track now. Under caution, as you can see, a lot of cars are involved in that, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of damage we got when these cars get lined back up after the pit stops.
Yeah, pace lights are out on the pace car. The the TDR Whelen Modified pace car, is it looks like we're going to have Martin Karch in the 41 laps down. It looks like they're going to have to go down to the inside of your current race leader, Steve Gordon. Frank Divens, second. Going to see, interested to see if he can get around Steve Gordon in that number 1 machine here on the restart. Hopefully these guys lay back and start running single file and not force the issue early. They got a lot of laps left.
And the green flag is out, and we're back to green flag racing. It looks like Reaper is going to be your leader, followed closely by Frank Divens. Let's see if we can get through this turn 3 one more time. We are side by side going for the lead. Looks like Divens is trying to take the low side. They're side by side going into turn 1. Divens is still fighting for that lead, but it doesn't look like Reaper's willing to give it up yet. Coming out of turn 2 into 3, it looks like, oh, there you go. Divens has finally cleared Reaper. He's going to take over, and now Reaper's being attacked by another car down on the bottom.
Yeah, Jason Melson in the form of the number 38 machine was momentarily on the bottom of Reaper. Reaper drifting high, leaving the door wide open on that bottom side of the speedway as Jason Melson trying to track him down. It looks like he ran into the corner a little hot. That's going to leave some car lengths between him and himself and Steve Gordon. Frank Divens trying to pull away.
Yeah, Divens is out there in some clean air right now. We're seeing Divens doing some warpage back there, jump side to side a little bit on the main camera. Seems to be pretty solid right now. We'll keep an eye on that. Back through the field, we've got a race for 3rd place now.
Yeah, Jason Melson down to the inside of the number 41 of Frank Suggs. Melson looks like he's going to capitalize and take over that 3rd spot as Frank Suggs going to fall back to 4th. Don't look now, but here comes the number 4 of Jeremy Jeffries. Jeffries had a good run here a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have to see what Jeffries can do. He didn't have much practice here this evening. Jeffries real fast on these short tracks.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, we just flipped over the camera, and it looks like right in front of Jeffries. Looked like possibly the 47, 41. And again, that is called a melee out on the track. The 41 did a solo spin right in front of the number 4 of Jeremy Jeffries, and of course had nowhere to go, so Jeremy gets into him, and next thing you know, everybody's piled up again out on the track. See if we can get back to that replay.
It does look like Suggs got loose all by him lonesome, and the number 4 had nowhere to go. Jeremy Jeffries, as I was just talking about him, that's that DRTV curse. A lot of times these drivers, you start talking about them, something bad happens to them. Maybe I shouldn't talk about some of these drivers, but show must go on. The 41 of Frank Suggs, the 4 was involved. There was quite a few cars involved in that melee. Frank Divens was out there in clean air. He is your current race leader. Steve Gordon, Reaper, the number 1, sitting 2nd. Jason Melson sitting 3rd. Kelly Horner up to 4th in that number 21 machine. Kelly making a huge move from the back. Now he's up to 4th. 5th right now is the 103 of Carson Krenz. Jeremy Jeffries, I believe that's going to change because Jeremy Jeffries is slated 6th, but I think he's going to have to pit for the damage to his race car. As 7th right now is Keith Patton in the 069. 8th is the number 20. 9th is the 005 of David Day. And they're changing all the way through the field right now. A lot of cars pitting there on pit road. I believe Rich, Mr. TV Time, has your replay queued up for you, the race fans.
Yeah, we're keeping our eye on the 41 of Frank Suggs. As you can see, he just goes into this corner, gets a little loose. We mentioned earlier during practice that most of the slippiness or them losing it is going to happen in turn 3. And 4 of Jeremy Jeffries just tries to wiggle under him and just couldn't quite do it. Then he's also collected by the 103 of Carson Krenz. It looks like everybody else seems to get around him, but there was more damage that happened further down the track. Let's see if we can flip that up as well. Got a lot of these cars, they come flying around this corner. Remember, they're full throttle from the end of turn 1 all the way to the beginning of turn 3. And there's just a traffic jam right there at the start-finish line. There's just nowhere for anybody to go. So, jump on the brakes, lock them up, flat spot your tires. That's pretty much all they can do and hope they don't get into somebody else. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, tough break for a lot of them drivers involved. A lot of drivers involved in early incidents. It's going to be interesting to see how far these guys can make it back up through the field. I believe they didn't get a ton of damage in a lot of these wrecks. Just some of them that have flipped and rolled over. It's tough breaks for them, but I think they're all squared away and going. But the 33 of Martin Karch and Frank Suggs are laps down. So 23rd and 24th. So we got 22 cars on the lead lap. Pace car has their lights extinguished as he's going down pit road. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, Rich.
Yeah, and we got our eyes on the leader. We've got the 38 and the 049 up front. We got a couple lap down cars that are showing up down on the bottom side of the track. We're back to green flag racing.
Those of you who've seen the number 33 dive low, that was a lucky dog. He was a little late to the punch. He got low, and he's going to be in front of your leaders. He was supposed to have his lead lap back and back to the tail end of the lead lap is Frank Divins right now, your current race leader. He has a huge gap between himself and Jason Melson right now. The 21 of Kelly Horner sitting third. Fourth is Carson Krenz. Fifth is Matt Whale in that 09 machine.
Yeah, and once you get back about fifth spot back, they are really clustered up. So we're going to have to keep our eyes back there. They're going through turns 1, 2, and 3, too wide back there. So if anything's going to happen, at least the leaders up front are in clean air, and they're pretty spread out now. I think that's going to be the name of the game, is to find clean air.
Right now I'm looking at the battle between Carson Krenz, and it looks like Kelly Horner in the 21. Krenz is going to get into the side of Horner. Horner around, and so isn't Krenz. Here we go again. Another yellow flag. Paging Dr. Green. We need an elixir for that yellow fever. Cautions breed cautions, Rich, and that's what we're seeing here this evening here at the Concord Motorsports Park.
Yeah, most definitely. We're looking at just over 11 minutes into this event, 24 laps so far. 3 cautions already. This is going to make number 3, I guess. See if I can't work on getting this replay set up for you guys.
Seems like every time I've been talking about the drivers making moves, and it seems like we're always right there where the action is, and that's where a lot of the wrecks happen. A lot of these guys are a little antsy early. Hopefully they calm down and start getting in the single file line and race this race. Rich, Mr. TV Time, once again, has the replay queued up for you, the race fans out there on YouTube.
Yeah, as you can see here, our first issue is going to be these 3 cars coming through this corner. They're 3 wide going through turn 3. That's not very wise on this track. And, of course, Carson Krenz is going to catch up, come up and make contact with Kelly Horner. That's going to bump him into the 14 of Mike Ross. And Krenz is going to just go down on the inside line on the apron. Looks like most cars are going to get around him. Let's back this up just a moment so you guys can get a wider angle. A lot of smoke on the track. Once again, there's a lot of congestion. Remember, we're dealing with 24, 25 cars out here on a half-mile track. And like I said, from turn 1 to turn 3, these guys are running wide open, so there's not a whole lot of time to stop. Good news there. Good. I'm sorry, man. The good news there, it doesn't look like anybody went airborne, so maybe just a couple cars got banged up a little bit. Wasn't too bad. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, stepping on Mr. TV Time, as you know, he likes that likes that airtime out there. Right now, we're not liking the airtime. Yellow flags, yellow flags right now. Early in this event, we're going to see some green flag racing. I know we're going to as soon as these guys get calmed down. Some cars not on the lead lap. We got 3 cars not in the lead lap now. We got 21 cars on the lead lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how fast these guys can get their laps back and get some green flag racing. We want to see a tire run here to see if it's really 50 laps in the window. Pace car lights are extinguished on that pace car. Frank Divins, your current race leader. Jason Melson, second. Third is 005 of David Day. Fourth, David Melson. And fifth, Stevie Melson. Melson Family Affair in the top 5, Rich.
Yeah, 10-4 pace cars is out, and we're 2 wide up front again. We got 2 more lap down cars. Divins is on the high side, and he comes around turn 3, watching that flag stand. The green flag is out. Divins gets a good jump. He's going to have no problem getting into turn 1. Also followed by the 38 of Jason Melson gets in there with him. Looks like the 005 of David Day is certainly looking at the back end of Melson, trying to figure out how to get around him. Meanwhile, Divins gets loose in turn 3, goes up and smacks the wall. We're still green flag racing. David Day's going to go low on the inside of the 38, and David Day is going to take the lead. Let's see if he can hold it this time around.
Wow. All I got to see is Jolly G. Whitaker's, Rich. A 49 of Divins dropping way, way back. You're going to have to see where he's going to fall into place. Is David Day now taking over your lead? Jason Melson sitting second. Third is Stevie Melson. Fourth, David Melson. And fifth is the 09 of Matt Whale. Keith Patton peeking into this top 10 in that 069 machine. He's in 6th.
Yeah, Divins is going to clock in that last time by, back to 8th place due to that slip up in turn 3. Meanwhile, David Day just turns on the muscle and is just running away from Jason Melson. Jason Melson, the third member of the Melson family, I think he was out here last week for his first event. We've got another caution as they just spun in turn 3 again.
Yeah, that treacherous turn number 3. That's where all the incidents have happened this evening. Going to have to give some time for Rich to queue up that replay, as we did have a few green flag pit stops, green flag laps that time by, and going to be interesting to see what's going to shake up, see if these guys start pitting. Some of these guys have a lot of damage. I don't know if there's a clean car out there right now, Rich.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to find a clean car. Let me get back through this replay. It looks like the 069 of Keith Patton was definitely involved.
Yeah, it almost looks like Dean Woodward in that number 34 machine was involved also. Innocent bystander in that melee over there in turn number 3. Some of these drivers really forcing the issue early, trying to get to the front. Can't win the race on the first lap. I've learned that in dirt track racing and learned that in online racing. I've learned it all over the place, and I know you can't win the race on the first lap, or even the 24th lap, or the 36th lap for that matter. I'm going to throw it down to Rich Patton, Mr. TV Time, with our replay.
Yeah, it was my mistake. It wasn't the 069 at all of Keith Patton. It looks like Keith Patton was further back in the field and he missed it. It looked like it was a solo spin starting with the 34 of Dean Woodward. Just gets in there a little hot, gets the rear end loose, and a couple cars might have connected with him. Looked like maybe Martin Karch might have tagged him, pinned both of those cars up against the wall. Doesn't look like anybody else was involved. They were able to get through it slowly. A lot of smoke, a lot of cars stopping real fast, and once again, they're coming into this corner full throttle. There's not a whole lot of time to react, so good thing only looked like 2 cars were involved in this one. Back to you, Todd.
Yellow flag is out there right now. We have 37 laps complete of 150. David Day, your current race leader. Jason Melson sent in 2nd. 3rd is a 95 of Steve Melson. 4th is Dave Melson. So we got a Melson train going on. Matt Whale is sitting there in that 5th spot. 6th is your current points leader. That's the number 17 of Daryl Pace. 7th, 069 of Keith Patton. 8th is the number 1 of Reaper. 9th is the 066 of Andrew Odom, who we haven't spoke about here this evening. He was our inaugural Shake and Bake winner here on DRTV. 10th right now is the number 4, Jeremy Jeffrey. So these guys working their way back up through the field that were involved in them wrecks. Looks like pace lights have extinguished from the pace car, Rich. We're going to have to see if David Day can show some muscle here on this restart once again.
Yes, David Day's staying up by the wall. Very familiar start with short track racing. We know they can't pass before the line low. So the green flag is out. David Day is on the front. Looks like Melson's honors rear end. They're going in through turn 1. David Day gets a good launch out of that corner. Looks like he's slowly pulling some distance on the Melson. Looks like Jason Melson is going after him with everything he's got. Followed closely by Steve Melson as they turn it off into turn 1. The top 4, top 6 are single file now, spread out just a little bit, running in clean air.
Yeah, they're starting to get single file. David Day running a different groove than you see Jason Melson. Melson running tight to that bottom as David Day's a little groove up. His yellow flag's going to fly out there on the speedway as you start seeing cars jockeying for position, and it looks like the number 49 almost went a lap down. So yellow flag and yellow fever once again here at the Concord Motorsports Park in the TDR Whelen Modified Series.
Yeah, talking about Frank Divins, he was in the pits. It looked like he was coming out of the pits towards the end. He might have tried to make a late pit stop. Again, this is a fast track, very short track. You don't have a whole lot of time to do a full pit. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play it out with either, one side tires, all full tires, all fuel, however they want to do it. A lot of times it's a lot quicker to do one side and then come back around the next time to try to get another one so you don't go a lap down.
Trying to get in-race communications with driver the number 35 of Jason Melson. I think we now have the number 35 of Jason Melson. This is Todd and Rich in the broadcast booth. Do you got a copy?
Sure do.
Oh, you said you weren't getting interviewed over here so far. Second race out there in the TDR Whelen Modified Series here. Tell us what you see so far.
Well, I'm seeing that seems like it's going to be a caution-filled race. Hopefully not, but it's looking that way. But we're getting little runs, and I'm just sticking where I am at and hopefully get a good run out of this.
Yeah, having a nice showing up there right now, currently in your race lead. Did you have anything real early for David Day, or are you just settling in and seeing what he has?
I'm letting him go and letting him use up his tires. I'm still trying to save my tires as much as possible for the long run if we get one.
Can you beat the other Melsons out there? I know it's a Melson family affair. Are you guys competitive with one another?
Oh, we're competitive, but I don't think I can beat either one of them. They've got a lot more experience than I do, but I'm just hoping that I can get a decent finish.
Well, tell us about everybody that helps you get here before we go back to green.
Well, I got to thank my brother, my dad, you guys for putting on the races, and just everybody in general.
Thank you, Jason. I'm going to let you get back to race controls as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Good luck.
Yeah. And their green flag racing, Jason Melson's going to be your front setter. He's taking off into turn one, gets a nice bottom line. He's got clean air in front of him. Pretty much can run any line he wants. The problem is we've got two cars back for second place. Looks like one of them's possibly a lap down. Is that right, Todd?
Yep, the 41 of Frank Suggs is currently one lap down to your leader. Looks like Dean Woodward. Something is wrong with that number 34 machine. Looks like he's disqualified from the races. Yellow flag has come out there on the speedway once again here. Yellow flag fever at Concord Motorsports Park. Not sure what happened there. Retired from the event. Looks like it might have been the 34 of Dean Woodward. Looks like we have now two cars out of this event. The number 55 of James Collins also out. He was in your top 10 in points. He was currently running, he was 8th in points, 37 points back of your points leader. Tough break for James Collins in that 55 machine. Dean Woodward also out of this event. Something happened to the 34 machine. Looks like Hot Rod behind the wall. Mike Ross in that number 14 machine. They're doing some extensive work to that machine.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars out here that's got a lot of damage on them, and like I said, 24 cars, 25 cars on a half-mile fast track. There's going to be mayhem. We're sitting on 6 yellows already into this event, 32 laps under yellow. It is definitely a yellow fest here today, but hopefully as these cars get settled in a little bit and realize that, they don't have a whole lot of time to react and start giving each other some room, we may get some green flag racing in here. I don't think we're going to have any issues so far with tires or fuel.
No, right now I don't think we're going to have any issues with tires or fuel. A lot of these guys have been going down pit road, making lots of stops, getting tires and putting gas in there. Right now we are on lap 51 of 150, so we have just 99 laps left of this event, so we're going to have to see these guys settle in and get some green flag under their belt, so that way we can see some more racing and see some of them pit stops, green flag pit stops, and see how much these tires wear, Rich, as the pace car lights are extinguished. See the lucky dog going by the pace car to get the tail end of the field.
Pace car pulls off as Jason Melson's going to take the high side going through turn one. He's got 2 lap down cars below him. Looks like green flag is out, and Jason's going to get a jump. He does not quite get as much as he did last time. He does clear that lap down car. He gets down into turn 1 on the low side, and once again, he's back out in clean air. We do have a lap down car currently sitting behind the leader, so we got some cars back in the field going to have to work through some traffic through these couple lap down cars. Currently, right now, we've got 18 cars on the lead lap. 19th place and back is at least 1 lap down or more.
As finally the number 41 moves over for the number 95 of Steve Melson. Melson going to get to that second spot around that lap car of the 41 as Steve Melson moving into second. He's going to have to chase down Jason Melson.
Yeah, he's got some space between Jason and Steve, but Steve is a pretty good short track racer himself. And, you know, we talked to Steve, I think it was Steve Melson last week. We had another caution in turn 3. We talked to Steve Melson last week about him racing against the other Melsons and how competitive they were, and that they don't give each other any slack out there. So I'm thinking within the next few laps or whatever, Steve Melson's going to give Jason a run for his money up front.
Yeah, I believe so. It looks like the 17 of Daryl Pace made contact. It looks like it might have been the 103 of Carson Krenzy made contact. It looks like Daryl Pace, your current points leader, is in trouble over there in 3 and 4. That tricky, treacherous number 3 and 4 that all the incidents have happened in this evening as Rich tries to work to get that replay queued up for you, the race fans out there on YouTube watching this race. He don't like to be Mr. TV time. But we're giving him a lot of TV time this evening, and hopefully these racers straighten out and get some green flag laps as Rich has that replay for you.
Yeah, as you can see here, we're looking at a Carson Krentz on the right, Daryl Pace on the left in the 17. Looks like Daryl Pace is just going to get it a little loose. Tail slap the 103 of Krentz, put Krentz up into the wall. Daryl, of course, is going to get sideways right in front of the rest of the crowd. And luckily enough, nobody else got tangled up in that. Everybody else got through clearly. Looks like Keith Patton might have got tapped between Daryl Pace and the outside wall, but other than that, it looks like everybody else is fair game. And I don't really see anybody else getting involved in that one. So tough break for Daryl Pace, our race points leader. So we'll have to see if he can get it back together and get back charging towards the front. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, Daryl Pace, we talk about the points. He only has a 10-point advantage over that Frank Divins Sr. And missing a week last week, but Frank Divins has 3 wins on the season, and Frank Divins running respectively right now in that 6th position. Phil Lacasse Jr. is 14 points back of pace. Keith Patton 25 points back. Matt Lizniewski is 28 points back. Joe Archer's 29. Kelly Horner's 36. James Collins 37. Steve Melson 39. Last week's feature winner. He's 39 points back. Dave Melson 51 points back. So 51 points separating the top 10. A lot of new racers here this evening. So that's going to shake up the points, jumble them up a little bit. So maybe even the points leader can get some extra points, but right now it's not going his way as Pace Light have extinguished on that TDR Whelen modified pace car.
Yeah, tough night for Daryl Pace. He's going to have some work cut out for him if he wants to salvage what's going on and maintain this lead, but he's definitely got some heavy hitters behind him and in front of him tonight, so it's going to be tough. Pace car pulls off the track. We're watching Jason Melson lead Steve Melson through turn 3. Got lap down cars down on the inside again, so it's going to be interesting to see what these two Melsons do with them. Green flag is out, and Jason gets a good jump on Steve, clears the lap down car. Steve gets stuck behind the lap down car as Jason gains some ground or pulls away.
Yeah, Jason said he was worried about Stevie because he has a lot more laps on this track. As Jason just in his second career start here in the TDR Whelen Modified Series, showing some muscle here this evening in that number 38 machine up front.
Steve dives down inside that lap down car. He's finally going to try to get around him. Looks like if he can get through on the low side in turn 1, he's got clean air. And once again, Steve Melson has got Jason Melson in his sights. He's just got to make up some ground now.
Yellow flag out there on the speedway, paging Dr. Yellow or Dr. Green as we're seeing Dr. Yellow. We got to page Dr. Green because the yellow fever has not been cured yet. Must be we used the wrong elixir as cautions breed cautions, and caution continue here at the TDR Whelen Modified Series. Drivers just need to calm down, Rich. I don't know any more I can say.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let me work on getting this replay back for our race fans. This is definitely a yellow fest out here. This is going to be caution number 8 for 42 laps. We've only completed 66 laps of 150, so a lot of yellow flag racing here tonight.
Going to reset your field. Jason Melson, your current race leader. Steve Melson, second. Matt Whale, third. Dave Melson is fourth. David Day in that double knot 5 up to 5th. So 5 and 5. That's going to be interesting to see if he can come from that spot. Get out of the 5th position. Too many 5s. 6th, number 1 of Reaper. 7th to 066 of Andrew Odom as Randy Schneider retiring from the event with a gearbox issue. 7th right now is the number 1 of Steve Gordon. 8th is Matt Lewinsky. 9th is the number 3 of Joey the Man. He's moving up. He's been quiet all night. He's a good short track veteran, Rich. 10th is the 33 of Martin Karch. He's been minding his P's and Q's. He did qualify up there near the front. I believe he outside pole in that number 33 machine, and he was involved in that early race incident. Now he's working his way back into the top 5 or top 10. Rich still trying to get that replay queued up down there in the trailer. It's real tight down there, so it's hard for him to get that replay queued up. As the 38 of Jason Melson still behind that pace car. Pace car is leading the most laps right now, and that's not what any of these drivers want to see out there. I know they don't, and I'm sure they're screaming on the radios to their spotters to tell the other drivers to calm down and get some green flag laps under their belts. Going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, down there in the booth with our replay.
Yeah, this one we're going to take a little step back and look further down the field. There was a lot of things going on in this track. It looks like it may have started with our own DRTV crew member, the 48 of Racer X, which we also know as Phil Lacoste. He got a solo spin. It didn't cause most of the damage, but it caused everybody to do different things. And as you can see through this replay, it kind of got everybody jacked up a little bit. So it looks like the 48 goes through and does a solo spin. Things aren't too bad. The tough part is when the 21 of Kelly Horner gets turned around. He's basically sitting in the middle of the track just like Phil there is, and everybody has to avoid him. As you can see, they just get jumbled up on the outside wall, and there's just no time to stop. And pretty much everybody just starts bumping into everybody.
Pace car lights have extinguished once again on that TDR Whelen Modified pace car. Jason Melson going to lead him down, but once again you have the 41 of Frank Suggs down there on the inside. Frank Suggs, 2 laps down to your leaders. Let's see if Jason Melson can use Suggs as a pick to Stevie Melson and try to get some more space in between them. As green flag flies as Jason Melson didn't get the start that he wanted. Is the 95 of Stevie Melson right there on his rear bumper. Only about 3 car lengths behind him is separating him and Stevie Melson. Maybe we'll see a battle for the lead here, Rich.
Yeah, I think we will. Steve was able to get around that lap down car and stick with Jason this time. As you can see, there's only about a car distance between him, and Steve is closing up on it. If this thing stays green, I think Steve is going to start looking for a way around Jason pretty quickly.
Yeah, them two very competitive with one another. As here comes Stevie Melson. He's starting to knock on the door down to the inside of the 38 of Jason Melson, side by side. Jason Melson is going to lose that top spot to Stevie Melson. Stevie Melson now up front, and he's your new race leader.
Yeah, that was a very nice pass back there. It looked like it was through turn 2 going into turn 3. As you can see now, Steve Melson is your race leader, followed closely by Jason Melson. We still got a lap down car currently sitting the car behind second. And then we got a couple car lengths back before we even get into third place now.
Yeah, Matt Whale currently has your third position. The 4th place car of the double knot 5 of David Day. He is wanting that third position. He's down to the inside there momentarily. He's still trying to peek underneath the 09 of Matt Whale. They are bumper to bumper going into corner 1, Rich.
Yeah, as you can see, cameras set on this battle for third place. David Day is certainly looking to get around Matt Whale. and he's right on his bumper. I can't believe the control he has of that car staying off of him. He's certainly not giving him any room at all. If Matt Whale makes any mistake, David's going to take it from him in a heartbeat. Looks like David's looking on the inside. He's trying to get around him this time by. He does get into that corner on the low side. He's got to slow down to keep it down. David Day is finally taking that position as they cross the start-finish line. Matt Whale's going to fall in behind him going out of turn 1.
Yeah, you see that, Rich? David Day was dirt tracking it. He was sideways after he made that pass around Matt Whale. As if you see the 28, he hit the apron. The 28 of David Melson, he hit the apron momentarily. He got all kinds of out of shape, but he kept it going the right way. Good save by the number 28 of Dave Melson.
Yeah, most likely Dave Melson's currently under attack by the 33 of Martin Karch. 33 is looking low. He gets up there close to him. It looks like he's going to have position going into turn 1. They get very close. Martin slides it up to him, almost touches. They're still side by side going through turn 3. And this is the race for 4th position, I believe, or 5th position. 5th place.
Yeah, Martin Karch got loose over there in the treacherous turn number 3 and 4. David Melson going to keep that position in that 5th spot, but still lurking is the 33 of Martin Karch. He drives the wheels off just pretty much anything that he drives, and Martin Karch putting that car to its limits right now, trying to the top side of David Melson.
Yeah, and they're working their way around lap down traffic right now, trying to get around them. It's a very tight track, very tight corners, very fast pace. A lot of these cars, when they go down on the inside, they are starting to get a little bit loose. It's wanting to push up into the car up on the high side, so they really got to get out of it and let them tires grab a hold before they can get back into it, and it's tough to pass down there.
Yeah, indeed, it's tough. As Frank Divens, you can see him in the picture behind the 33 of Martin Karch. He is currently 3 laps down to your race leader. Tough break for Frank Divens right now. That's going to hurt him in the point standings, as here comes Martin Karch back to the top side of the 28 of Melson. They were side by side momentarily. Looks like Melson's being held up by the number 9 of Matt Whale on the bottom. Looks like Melson's a little bit faster. We're going to have yellow flag back there on the speedway, Rich. Not sure who was involved in that incident, but again, yellow fever back there on the speedway. Going to have to say they did have a good green flag run going there, Rich, and the elixir worked that time. Going to have to try a little bit more of that stuff and maybe a higher dose. It looks like maybe a solo spin by the number 48. We're going to have to throw it down to Rich. He's got more on that story.
Yeah, we're definitely watching the 48 come through this corner, as we know some of these corners are a little tough. Looking at turn 3 as the 48 comes through there, he might have let off of it just a little bit. The 069 looked like he got a little loose in front of him, and that might have been just enough to upset his car coming off the gas like that. Turn 3 is a tricky turn, and if you're not prepared for that, it can get away from you really quick. Back to you, Todd.
Going to try to get a hold of one of these drivers out there on the speedway. I'm going to pick, it looks like I'm going to pick the 33 of Martin Karch if I can get a hold of him in that number 33 machine. He's been running, he's been to the back, and he's come back up through the front. I'm going to see what he has to say here on the radio. Martin Karch, this is Todd and Rich in the DRTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Martin, you've been to the back and you worked your way methodically through the field once again. And tell us what you're seeing out there right now.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of loose race cars right now.
Yeah, 10-4, we were watching it practice, and also we're seeing most of this in this race. A lot of guys are getting loose, specifically in turn 3. Turn 1 and turn 2 seems to be pretty good. We know turn 1 to turn 3 is pretty much wide open running. Turn 2 is usually not an issue. What's the trick in turn 3? We just saw the 48 of Phil get a little loose, most likely because he had to let up in the middle of the corner, which I think upset the car. Is that pretty much what you're seeing? If you stay in it, it's not too bad. But if you make adjustments mid-corner, that's when you're going to get in trouble?
Yeah. And my biggest secret is I'm just driving it like I do a dirt track, so.
Indeed, driving it like a dirt track. You're known for all them dirt tracks out there, Willie, and going to be interested to see what you have for these guys. Do you have anything for the Melsons in them?
I think I have a pretty strong contention to get at least the top 3 out of it.
Well, anybody you would like to thank, Martin, here this evening that helped you get here? Any sponsors, anything?
I'd like to thank you guys in the DRT booth, Wicked Designs, TWA Racing, TDR Racing, and everybody that shows up on a weekly basis.
All right, I'm going to let you get back to race controls. There's green flags back there, out there on the speedway. Rich, you have the call for that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It looks like we got one around. I don't know if this is going to pull the caution out, but when they went into turn 1, it looked like second place back. I wasn't sure if it was lap down cars involved or not, but they were 3 wide going into turn 1. Meanwhile, David Day just jumps way ahead of them. Luckily enough for the rest of the field, it looks like we're back under caution again, so they can regroup and try this again, but it was a mess going into turn 1 that last time. We'll see if we can't go back and get the replay for our race fans.
Indeed, a mess out there on the speedway once again as we got lap 93 of 150 complete. Your current race leader is double knot 5 of David Day. 09 of Matt Whale sitting in that second spot. Reaper Steve Gordon in that number 1 sitting third. We haven't got a chance to talk about him. Besides earlier in the event, he's methodically made his way through the field. The number 4, Jeremy Jeffries, was involved in an early race incident. A lot of these cars heavily damaged out there in the speedway. It's starting to even the field out a little bit, and you're starting to see some of these, the cream rise to the top kind of ordeal. Starting to see some of these heavy hitters really come through the field. Andrew Odom running solidly in that 5th position in the 066. Stevie Melson sitting 6th in that number 95. Number 7 of Matt is sitting in 7th. 8th is the number 28 of Dave Melson. Darrell Pace back up to the 9th position in number 17. He is salvaging his points run right now in 9th. Martin Karch did take a pit stop while we were on the radio with him with that number 33 machine. He's in 10th right now. We're going to see if he can peek back into the top 5. As right now Rich is still drumming up that replay for you race fans out there on YouTube. Don't forget, chat box is open. If you have any comments or shout outs, make sure to say them, and we'll try to get them on the air here this evening. Again, a lot of tough breaks here this evening for a lot of these drivers. Yellow flag has been most of the event, so a lot of these drivers, I'm sure, are not happy with themselves or their other fellow racers about all these yellow flags, as Rich has the replay queued up for you YouTube racer fans.
Yeah, definitely what we're watching here is Frank Divens in the 049 as he comes off of turn 1 headed towards turn 2, it looks like, or I'm sorry, through turn 2 in towards turn 3. He just gets a little loose on 2, comes down and smacks the wall. Good thing for everyone else is that everyone else avoided him. Probably hurt Frank Divens' car one more time again. So Frank Divens, currently your 2nd place points leader right now, having a rough night. Good thing for him, the 17 of Darrell Pace, which you can also see right there in front of your replay screen, is also having a rough night. So our top 2 in points tonight really having a struggle tonight here at Concord. Back to you, Todd.
Yep, some more bad news as the 049 has retired from the event. He's going to finish in that 20th position, so tough break for your 2nd place points man. Frank Divens retired from the event. Could not fix all the damage. His pace lights have been extinguished off that pace car. Green flags in the air. David Day has a good jump. He has a car length and a half advantage over Matt Whale.
Yeah, and he gets one heck of a run off of turn 1, goes screaming through turn 3, and he's looking at, or turn 2, and just screams through turn 3. He's got a lot of distance between Matt right now. Matt also in clean air. Looks like 3rd place back is dealing with some lap down traffic. So it's going to be interesting to see if Matt's got anything to catch up with David Day. Otherwise, David Day is going to be tough to catch by anybody.
Yeah, Steve Gordon in that number 1 machine was having trouble with the 103 of Carson Krenz. He's trying to get around him, but yellow flag's going to be back there on the speedway. Dr. Green, you're not doing your job. The elixir's not working. What are you doing? Rich, we're going to have words with Dr. Green here. He's just not doing his job.
Yeah, I hear that. We're definitely having a caution fest out here tonight.
It looks like the double knot 5 of David Day has gone down to pit road, maybe? Yeah, it looks like he's getting service on pit road. Yeah, he's getting service on pit road. Looks like he's going to get some tires, 4 tires in that double knot 5. To Kansas Sunoco race field. He's down and away. He's going to join the tail end of the field in that double knot 5 machine. David Day having a pretty good race here this evening. Now going to have to try to come all the way back from, I believe it's going to be the 16th position, maybe even the 13th position, as some of these cars did not pit this time. As you can see, Reaper right now, Steve Gordon in that number 1 machine. He's going to be your current race leader in that number 1 machine. Rich has the replay queued up for you, the race fans.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. We're back here in the replay booth once again. We're watching the 21 of Kelly Horner, the 3 of Joey DeMann, and I believe Joe Archer might have been in front of him. It looks like Joey DeMann might have just got a little bit loose, and the 38's going to come up and tap him in the left rear corner. That's what's going to send him around. So it looks like Jason Melson tagging the 3 might have caused that caution. Melson immediately went down through pit road. Joey DeMann still left out on the track in a little bit mangled mess. Doesn't look like anybody else was involved in that mess. Just those 2 cars, and it looks like Joey got the worst of it. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, tough break for the number 3 machine of Joey DeMann. He's been just riding around out there, and he gets involved in a wreck. And Jason Melson doing the right thing, going down pit road to serve his penalty. These guys get an end of the longest line penalty if they cause the yellow or bring out the yellow, specifically cause the yellow flag. They're going to get an end of the longest line penalty. I believe it's 3 spins or 3 causes of the yellow yourself, and you have to park from the event. So a lot of these guys are on the cusp of that right now, Rich.
Yeah, most definitely. As you look through our field right now, Reaper in the number 1 is going to be your pole sitter, or is currently sitting up front, followed close by the number 4, Jeremy Jeffries. They have some lap down traffic. Steve Melson, currently sitting in 3rd on the high side. It's going to be interesting to see what the 1 and the 4 can do with Steve Melson behind them, how long they can hold it on. Green flag is out. 2 lap down cars on the inside. Let's see what Reaper and Jeremy does with them. Reaper's going to clear him. Oh, the lap down car catches Reaper, and he goes airborne. We have melee after turn 1 out on the track.
Lap car for the number 41 takes out 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in a tri-oval. Just a massive effect. All kinds of carnage out there on the speedway. I believe the 95 was upside down. There was a lot of cars upside down. Tough break for the 1 of Reaper as Frank Suggs. I don't think he meant it. I think he got in the corner a little hot. And again, short track racing, product of short track racing. And again, track was blocked. Nowhere to go for any of these drivers out there, Rich. So again, that's going to reset the field. And a lot of these guys, as we're going through to reset the field, we're going to wait for these guys to come around, and Rich is going to have your replay queued up. I believe he's got a lot of upside-down cars and carnage in this replay.
Yeah, most definitely. We're going to watch the front row as they take this green flag through here. Not sure if the 41 did anything actually wrong. It looked like the number 1 might have come down too soon. He wasn't quite clear. Of course, the lap-down car probably should have given him a little bit more room being the leader. That's definitely what caused the mess. And then, of course, everybody just starts getting involved. There's nowhere else to go. Everybody's just coming off a full throttle, green flag, and your race leader, current race leader, the number 1, probably got the worst of that. It looks like he made quite a few cartwheels down the road there. So back to you, Todd.
Again, yellow fever out there on the speedway, yellow flag, yellow fever, whatever you want to call it. A lot of these drivers still probably beating themselves up about this event right now. Is that I know they don't want to portray themselves. There's a lot of good heavy hitters out there. They're just, a lot of them are not used to each other. We had a lot of newcomers here this evening, and that's why you're going to have some of these wrecks and guys forcing the issue, because they really don't know the boundaries of these other drivers. Some of them do, but a lot of them aren't making the front. Is Martin Karch right now, after pit stops and all kinds of carnage. Martin Karch is going to inherit the lead in that number 33 machine. Daryl Pace up to 2nd. That's going to be a good points night for Daryl Pace. He's your current points leader, and nobody in front of him but the 33 of Martin Karch. 28 of Dave Melson sitting 3rd. 4th to 21 of Kelly Horner. 5th, 069 of Keith Patton. 6th, we haven't talked about him all night. He's handicapped. He's only racing with one good arm. That's the number 5, the machine, Joe Archer. At the helm, also haven't talked about him. He's inside the top 10. So, Rich, we're starting to see some new drivers in the top 10 because of all the yellows and the wrecks that have been happening.
Yeah, most definitely. Pace car's lights are out. He has pulled off the track. We got a couple lap down cars trying to catch up on the inside lane as the 33 comes through turn 3. He's watching that flag stand, looking for the green flag. Green flag is out. Daryl Pace following the 33. It looks like Pace gets a little bit slow off the start. 33 is going to hang on to the front. He stays up high. The lap down cars are battling down the inside lane. The 33 cannot get around the lap down car of 1.
Yeah, Steve Gordon down there on the inside, Rich, and that number 1 machine, same way with Stevie Melson in 95. These guys trying to get their laps back. Here comes the number 28 of Dave Melson. Looks like he's on the lead lap. That's a battle for the top spot. Dave Melson gets sideways, and he goes around in the number 28 machine.
He is able to save it. He bounces the left front tire off the inside wall and keeps going. We're still green flag racing. That was some good driving by the Melson there, or Dave Melson, I think it was. But we definitely have a lead change. Looks like caution is out. Caution is out.
I'm thinking the spotters are getting tired of that, Rich. Yellow flag out. Yellow flag out. The spotters got to be tired of that. I would be opening up a 12-pack of beer up there right now.
I 10-4, I hear that.
No, these guys can race really well here at the TDR Whelen Modified Series. They're just having a lot of trouble here getting going at the Concord Motorsports Park in the Concord 150. Got to thank NRT Game Servers for putting together a great gaming server here. Also got to thank DRTV for putting on the show, and Rich for having me up here in the broadcast booth every week. I'm enjoying all my time up here. We might have a little bit of yellow fever. We may make some comments about the yellow flags. Everybody gets sick of yellow flags, but it's a product of short track racing. We just got to live with it.
Yeah, most definitely. We all don't like to be racing under yellow flag conditions more than half the lap or half the race or whatnot. But it happens on short tracks, and especially a track like this that's very fast-paced, where it's got one dangerous corner. If you hit turn 3 just wrong, you're going to get your car upset, and everybody knows that. So it's a challenge, and like I said, we started with 24, 25 cars out here tonight. It's a pretty big field for this track, and these guys got their work cut out for them, that's for sure.
Martin Karch, I'm sure he's worried about some of these cars in behind him. Well, knowing Martin, he's probably not worried. He's just going to focus on driving up here in the lead. Martin Karch, your current race leader. Daryl Pace sitting second. He's setting a good pace. Pardon the pun. Just like we've said before with Daryl Pace, his name just creates that. The double knot 5 of David Day sitting third. He's got fresh tires in that machine. He's been the muscle of the field all night. I believe Rich has the replay queued up for you, the race fans, to see what brought out this yellow flag.
Yeah, it took me a while to find this one due to a couple cars smoking out there, through the corners, sideways and whatnot, thinking that they're at a dirt track. But we finally tracked it down. The 066 of Andrew Odom looks like he's going to get a little bit loose going into the corner. Of course, the 103 who's about to come into your picture, going to tap him. Looks like he didn't slow down quick enough, and of course that's going to make the 103 go down. Bounce it off the 17, I believe it was. Looks like just the 066 and the 103 are involved. They get their cars straightened out, and we're back. Under caution. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, pace lights are extinguished on the pace car. He's already down pit road. Green flag is out. Martin Karch puts his foot down on that loud pedal in that number 33 machine. He got a huge jump over Daryl Pace, your second place in points, and your second position here right now. As Daryl Pace running second. Yellow flag going to be out there on the speedway once again. Lap 120 of 150. We got 30 to go and another yellow flag. Not sure what happened there. Your top leaders, your top five have stayed the same. Keith Patton up there in fifth. I believe that's the only one that changed there in the short stint of a green flag. Maybe a little bit of a bottleneck. Not sure. Rich will have that replay for you again. With these yellow flags, it's took the fuel mileage game out the window. Your tires are out the window. These guys are just going to have to drive it real hard, and hopefully we stay green flag these last 25, 30 laps. Rich Patton has the replay queued up for you once again.
Yeah, we're keeping our eyes on the 28 of Dave Melson, followed closely by Joe Archer. As you can see through this replay, they're going to get tangled up a little bit. 28 gets a little loose on his own, goes down and bumps the 5 of Joe Archer. They come back up the track in front of everybody. Looks like the 20 of Matt Lesniewski also got spun. Looks like everybody else pretty much kept it under control and got through there. So the 5, the 28, and the 20 look like they were involved. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, Matt Lesniewski in that number 20 machine. He right now was sitting 7th in points, so that's going to be 6th in points. It's going to be a tough break for him. He's going to have to join the tail end of the field. A lot of these top points getters having all kinds of trouble. Darrell Pace, though, the only one not having trouble. He did have trouble early, but he's not having trouble right now. And he's sitting second. Martin Karch in first right now. David Day, third. Fourth, Kelly Horner. Fifth, 069 of Keith Patton. 6th is 09 of Matt Whale, making his first appearance here in the TDR Whelen Modified Series. 7th is the 38 of Jason Melson. 8th, the 67 of Adam Helm. 9th, the number 1 of Steve Gordon. That's Reaper. He was a lap down. He got his lap back the hard way. When the yellow flag came out, he was in front of your race leader. As you see the 41 of Spanky's go by your race leader. He's the lucky dog. He's going to get one of his laps back. And I believe that's going to put him back on the lead lap. A lot of these guys, Steve Melson, got his lap back the hard way. He's sitting 10th. So you're going to see some of these guys start chugging to the front. It's go time when we have 25 laps left.
Yeah, as Martin Karch comes through turn 3, it looks like the lap down traffic is falling back a little bit. He's got Darrell Pace on his back bumper. He's also got David Day in third. David Day is right up on the bumper of the 17 as they go into turn 1. Looks like David Day is already looking to the inside of the 17. He's not wasting any time. He's got his sights on the 33 of Martin Karch now.
Yeah, David Day slams the door shut on the number 17 of Darrell Pace. He's going to try to track down the 33 of Martin Karch. They are 3 or 4 car lengths separating them right now. David Day trying to close the gap on the 33 machine as they go into 3 and 4 right now, Rich. David Day looks like he's starting to close.
Yeah, most definitely. The top 3 are slowly pulling away from the rest of this field. Your current 4th place car, 21 of Kelly Horner, is slowly fading back as these 3 lead cars just take off and leave the rest of this pack.
Martin Karch takes a glancing blow off that outside wall. His yellow flag's going to fly. That's going to... Martin Karch breathing a sigh of relief as looks like David Day was right to his rear bumper. Well, he's going to be to his rear bumper again on this restart. His yellow flag out there on the speedway. Not sure who was involved. Looks like a car was upside down, smashed in roof there, Rich, and another car. A lot of carnage out here, a lot of repairs to these machines for the next race. So hopefully these guys get it all straightened up for our next broadcaster race next Saturday. Again, your current running order will go over here in just a little bit as Rich has that replay queued up for you down there in his little trailer. Rich, you're real busy tonight. What happened?
Yeah, you guys definitely got me busy. It looks like we're watching Reaper, and the number 1's going to get a solo spin as he gets around right in front of Jeremy Jeffries. Jeffries does a good job of trying to stay off of him. Next thing you know, Jeremy gets into him. The 103 of Carson Crench comes up and also collects with the number 1, and they go flipping into the guardrail or into the outside wall and kind of flip each other up in the air. And it looks like that's pretty much all that was involved in that one. But definitely saw some more air with a couple more cars on these tracks. So you know these cars are moving pretty good. And when they get tangled up, there's just nowhere to go but through one another. And that's pretty much what we're ending up with here tonight, Todd.
Yeah, roadblocks. You have moments notice to try to change your running position. You've got to go high, you got to go low around these wrecks, and sometimes you just can't do that. You have to go through them. And when these drivers are three wide or 3 deep into the corner and they're wrecked all over the track, you just can't make it through some of these and getting some damage, unnecessary damage to some of these cars. Like I said, I don't think there's a clean car out there on the speedway. There might be. I might be wrong. Some of these drivers may correct me, but I don't think there's a clean car. I think they've all been involved in a wreck a time or two, for that matter, here at the Concord Motorsports Park in the TDR Whelen Modified Series.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think pretty much everybody out here has got some kind of damage on their car. As we see the number 20, currently one of the lap down cars is going to be on the inside lane. The 33 of Martin Karch is going to have to deal with that going into turn 1 next time by. He got the lucky dog. Looks like the 20 has passed the pace car, so he's going to go around, catch the back end of the field. And looks like we might have one more lap down car making his way up the inside lane. So it looks like your leaders still have a lap down car to deal with. Currently sitting on lap 133, 134 of a total of 150. The pace car is out, lights are off. We got 2 lap down cars on the inside. 33 followed by the 5 is coming around turn 3, looking for the flag stand. The green flag flies. David Day is all over the bumper of the 33 of Martin Karch as they both clear the lap down traffic. Lap down traffic once again goes 3 wide. A couple cars back, bounces it off the wall. Meanwhile, David Day is trying his darndest to get under the 33. Slipped up a little bit. It's got to back off and give him some room, Todd. They're going into turn 1.
Yeah, Martin Karch has that top spot. David Day in that double knot 5 has second right now. He wants that top spot from the 33 of Martin Karch, but Karch is not going to roll over easy in that 33 machine. He does hit the apron there. David Day trying to track him down. There's a car length advantage. Yellow flag's going to be out there on the speedway. I believe there's no racing back quite yet. I believe it's under 10 to go when we get racing back. But these guys are racing like it is racing back as the yellow flag's going to fly out there on the speedway once again. Smoke all over the track, and carnage once again hits the Concord Motorsports Park.
Yeah, I'm going to go back through and try to find this. I definitely saw the corner of my eye. Another car left the ground, and it looks like he was rolling. So we've got more damaged cars obviously involved in this wreck. Let me see if I can get this back up for our race fans.
Going to reset your field as he gets that replay ready. The 33 of Martin Karch, your current race leader on lap 139 of 150. So almost 10 to go for that 33 machine. The double knot 5 of David Day sitting in that second spot. Third is a 17 of Darrell Pace. Fourth is a 21 of Kelly Horner. Stevie Melson was 1 lap down. He's made his way up to 5th. Adam Helm having a good run for saying that he was going to race here this evening. The number 67 machine is running 6th. Matt Whale in that 09 newcomer is running 7th. Andrew Odom, been involved in a couple incidents. He's up to 8th. And then number 9 also said he wasn't going to run. Pulled his car off the trailer late. Joey DeMann running 9th. And 10th right now is a 20 of Matt Lesniewski in that 20 machine. An interesting fact about Matt Lesniewski, he cannot hear you. He is deaf in that number 20 machine, but he does a really, really good job of racing out here on the speedway in that number 20 machine. I believe Rich has got the replay queued up for you, the race fans out there on YouTube.
Yeah, most definitely. We're watching a couple cars here. The 09 of Matt Whale, the 38 of Jason Melson, and I believe it was the 069 of Keith Patton. The 9 of Matt Whale did have a solo spin, but I don't believe that's what caused the caution. Most of the carnage was back here with the 38 and the 069. As you can see, the 069 just got into the back of the 38, kind of spun him around a little further down the tracks where the 9 did a solo spin, but I believe this is what caused your caution. These 2 cars were the only ones involved in this one, Todd.
Yeah, luckily not a multi-car deal like more than 2 or 3. We've had a lot of those this evening and a lot of self-spins, and a lot of that 3 and 4 is real tricky and treacherous. And that's where all our wrecks are happening this evening. As you see another car get the lucky dog. He goes by the pace car. Pace car lights are extinguished atop that TDR Whelen Modified Series pace car. Going to talk about painting here later this evening as we got the number 4 retired from the race of Jeremy Jeffries. Pace car does take his turn down to pit road Your current race leader is Martin Karch. Followed closely by the 05 of David Day. Green flag is out. Martin Karch mashes the gas in that number 33 machine. Mouthful there, Rich.
Yeah, most definitely. Once again, Martin Karch in the 33 and David Day of the 005 kind of gets a good jump off the rest of these guys. Meanwhile, 21 of Kelly Horner is now being assaulted going down into turn 1. Looks like, was that Steve Melson?
Yeah, indeed, that was the number 95 of Steve Melson. He gets around. Well, he tried to get around Kelly Horner. I think he did. In that number 95 machine, he indeed did. As the battle for the top spot is underway, David Day looked momentarily down to the inside. Yellow flag is going to fly. We are on lap 145 of 150, and they're going to get the yellow flag, and that might have been your race. It might have been Martin Karch with your win there, Rich.
Yeah, that was definitely a race back to the caution. It looks like pace car's out on the track. The 33 is going to maintain the lead, followed closely by the 5 of Day. 17, Darrell Pace. If this is the end, that's going to be a good finishing spot for him to help him maintain that lead. Going to be interesting to see if they get to go green one more time, as we got a car stopped up on the front stretch. He's getting it going now.
Yeah, that was the number 38, Jason Melson. Also now just retiring from the event. The number 1 of Steve Gordon, also known as Reaper. He was up front early, and tough break for him. In that number 1 machine, Jason Melson, the last car in the lead lap, he was up front. He's in the rear. It's a tough break for a lot of these drivers, a lot of these heavy hitters that were in the point standings. It's going to really shake it up. But the 17 of Darrell Pace, he's going to have a good run going. And it's going to look like he's going to have a good points finish in that 17 machine tonight. As Rich, Mr. TV Time, I believe hopefully this is the last replay we have to do. Rich, I'm going to throw it down to you. What happened?
Yeah, 10-4, Todd. We're keeping our eyes on the 1 of Reaper. It looks like the 1 of Reaper gets a solo spin up high, up by the wall. Next thing you know, he comes down and just clips the rear end of Jason Melson. That's going to send Melson up against the wall. They get together again. It looks like here comes more traffic, and the 01 of Reaper just gets drilled in the side, and that sends him down the track doing rolls right on top of Jason Melson's car. And meanwhile, there's 2 cars sitting at a standstill as the rest of the field comes around turn 3. Back to you, Todd.
Drivers look like they're going to finish this race under yellow behind the pace car. The pace car has indeed led the most laps here this evening. And Martin Karch right now behind the pace car. The double knot 5 of David Day sitting second. Barring anything happening to any of these drivers, maybe a motor blow or anything like this, it's going to stay official with these cars up front. As the 95 gives a shot to the 005 of David Day. You know there's no love lost between those two. We've heard some comments before between those two. They joke around with each other, but on the track there's no love lost between them. The number 17 of Darrell Pace. Good points finish for him, as right now we are completing the last lap to get the checkered flag. Looks like Martin Karch is going to be your race winner, Rich.
Yeah, 10-4. This is definitely a recovering night for Darrell Pace. He had a rough night all night. It looks like he's finally going to finish pretty decent. That's going to save him in the point situation. But your race winner is the 33 of Martin Karch. Second place is going to be the 5 of David Day, followed by the 17 of Darrell Pace. Heck of a race, a lot of cautions. Looks like we did 17 cautions for 97 laps. So basically only 53 laps of green flag racing. It's been a tough night tonight, Todd.
Yeah, indeed, it's been a tough night as the standings are official. I'll go down through your official race standings. Martin Karch, you're a race winner in that number 33 machine. He said he might only have a top 3 car. He pulls off the win here this evening in the TDR Wheel and Modified Series. David Day in the double knot 5 finishes second. Third, right, is this current points leader, and I believe he's going to maintain that points lead. The number 17 of Darrell Pace. Fourth, the number 95 of Stevie Melson. He had an up and down night. Fifth will be the number 21 of Kelly Horner. He was a secret silent assassin in there. He kind of made his way to that 5th spot kind of silently. The number 09 of Matt Whale finishes 6th. Adam Helm, good finish for the number 67. He's going to finish 7th. Joey the Man in the number 3. He's going to finish 8th. And those in 066 of Andrew Odom, that's going to round out your top 9. Those guys were on the lead lap. Also 1 lap down, the 28 of Dave Melson. 41 of Frank Suggs finishing 11th. Matt Lesniewski is going to finish 12th in that number 20 machine. Joe Archer, the machine, is going to finish 13th. 14th, 069 of Keith Patton. 15th to 38 of Jason Melson. He led quite a few laps early in going. Got trapped one lap down in that 38 machine. Phil Lacasse Jr. in that Racer X 48 in the number 48. He's going to be 5 laps down. He's going to be the last car that was not retired. He's going to finish 16th. And these guys retired from the event. Tough breaks for them with all these yellow fevers. Reaper, Steve Gordon in that number 1 machine finishes 17th. 18th is number 4 Jeremy Jeffries. Carson Krenz finishes 19th. Frank Gibbons Sr., tough break for him. He finished 20th. He's going to drop like a rock in them point standings. Number 9 of Randy Schneider finishes 21st. 22nd to 55 of James Collins. And 23rd is the 34 of Dean Woodward. And Mike Ross is going to round out your field. Looks like they couldn't fix his damage behind pit wall. Is he going to finish many, many laps down, Rich?
I don't know. That's going to sum up the points. We're going to get our top 3 in the booth up here to get an interview on them. I think I'm down here. I'm trying to get a hold of the 17 of Daryl Pace. Daryl, you finished in 3rd place tonight, buddy. How you feel about that?
Well, I feel pretty good. Second week in a row, finished in 3rd. Track was good. Handling was, pretty good. Felt like I was skating quite a bit. I definitely don't really think I should have finished 3rd. I think at the best, maybe 10th. But got lucky, and cautions fell my way tonight, and just try to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, 10-4, buddy. You came into this race our TDR Whelen Series points leader. We thought you were going to be in trouble early on in the race. You had some rough spots, but good thing was you were able to recover, get that car back up towards the front. Congratulations on a 3rd place finish tonight. Anybody out there you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just a continuation of everything that DRTV does for TDR and all the leagues. That's represented, and I appreciate what y'all are doing, what TDR is doing, Afterburner, everybody that puts on everything. They do a good job, and I'm just real proud to be able to race with the guys.
Well, 10-4, there you have it. Your 3rd place finisher, Daryl Pace. Todd, I'm going to send it down to you. I believe you got David Day on the radio.
Yeah, indeed, I've caught up with Mr. Excitement, David Day, in that double knot 5 machine. David, 2nd place. I'm sure that's not what you wanted, but a lot of cautions out there, and you got it home in 2nd. You got to actually get an interview with us up here in the booth. So, congratulations on your 2nd place finish. Tell us what you've seen out there.
Oh yeah, way too many cautions. That's for sure. You have that many drivers on a short track. They just, everybody just got to calm down a little bit. But yeah, 2nd, one more spot again. But what can you do?
Oh, it looked like you were dirt tracking out there. Is any dirt track skills come into play out there on the speedway? Looks like 3 and 4 were real treacherous all evening long.
Yeah, I would actually enter high and then pretty much cut the corner low, kind of like a slick dirt track. So to me, it was helpful having all the dirt experience. But getting the damage from that first wreck, I don't know what Steve was thinking, but that kind of hurt me at the end there.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of. I don't think there was a clean car out there, was there, David? When you were going by some of these cars, did you see a lot of bent up sheet metal on these?
I don't think so. Like I told Martin after the race, he deserved to win because I think his was actually the cleanest car, and yeah, I'm actually glad he won. I heard it's pretty special for him, so congrats to him. That's good.
Well, anybody else you'd like to thank here this evening, David? I know our time is short because Rich is going to want to get to that race winner, but who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just thank you guys for putting on this race. Thanks TDR for the series. Been fun. Hopefully be back the next one, and just want to make a special thanks to Steve. We'll be seeing him in the next race again.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the driver of the number 5, the double knot 05 of David Day. That's Mr. Excitement. Rich, I believe you've caught up with our race winner, driver of the number 33, Martin Karch. I believe this is a real special win for him this evening. Rich, do you have him?
Yeah, it's pretty crowded down here. I got to wiggle through a couple people, but I see him over there. Martin, it's Rich with DRTV. How are you doing tonight, buddy? How do you feel?
I'm speechless right now.
I tell you, man, 24, 25 cars starting on a half-mile tri-oval track, a very fast-paced track. Turn 3 was a little bit tricky. A lot of cautions. Looked like we had 17 cautions tonight under 98 laps, so not a whole lot of green flag racing. We saw you back through the field several times tonight, back up towards the front several times. You seem to be able to keep your car clean. Was that the name of the game tonight? Was that what did it for you?
I'd honestly say that I had someone riding in the car with me, and they were making the decisions whether to pit or stay out tonight.
10-4. Yeah, so Martin's running around with someone in his car tonight. That's a good one. Martin, I can't congratulate you enough. Tell us why this win is so special for you tonight.
4 years ago, to this day, I lost my father due to leukemia and a massive heart attack. And I want to dedicate this one to him.
Well, 10 for you, DRTV crew. Hearts go out to you, buddy, and this does make this a special win. So we're very proud of you and very proud of everything you've done out here tonight. You put on one heck of a show. And with that, race fans, your race winner, the number 33 of Martin Karch. Martin, is there anyone out there you want to give thanks to tonight?
Once again, I want to thank you guys here at DRTV, TWA Racing, Wicked Designs, TDR Racing, and everybody that puts on this awesome show.
Well, 10-4. Thank you very much, Martin. And Todd, one heck of a race we saw there tonight.
Yeah, indeed, one whale of a race we see. We see a lot of different position changes, a lot of guys driving through the field, coming from the back to the front, and then they go to the front to the back. A lot of good racing out there, barring all these yellow flags tonight. 17 yellows for 98 laps, as you said, Rich. Tough break. I know these guys will get it going next Saturday here on DRTV. For myself and Rich Patton down there in the broadcast trailer, also doing double duty tonight, broadcasting alongside of me. I'm Todd Stanton. Hopefully we'll see you here next week, next Saturday night, for the TDR Whelen Modified Series here on DRTV.